Today on Jones Knows. Do you have scratched or chipped laminate boards that you've been putting off fixing? Well, I'm going to show you how to switch them out in under an hour.
It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors.
Alright, so let's get started. I hope you drink an energy drink or a large coffee because we're going to get this done in under an hour. First things first, we got to remove the quarter round or baseboards that's holding the perimeter of the floor down. Be sure to cut the caulking. We don't want to remove any of the excess paint and do any harm to the trim or walls. So we're going to go ahead and get that off, and then we need to get an opening in the floor. So we use our pry bar to pop up one board. And once we got one board up, then we're going to go ahead and start removing the good boards. Be sure to not damage them and put them in a neat pile. In a second here, I'm going to show you a trick how to get further out into the room without taking out as many boards and taking off any more trim than we have to. So what we're going to do is slide a couple boards out of the pattern, and then we can get further out into the room without having to take off any unnecessary trim. In our case, we kick those boards out. I meant to take out one. They slide so easy that two came out. Now with those boards out, I can go further into the room. I'm getting to my damaged boards now. Before you start, it's always a good idea to put an X on the board or use a piece of blue tape to mark your boards. As you see here, I got a little confused and had a hard time finding where the damaged board was. When you're working on the floor on top of the boards, it does get confusing sometimes, so it's a good idea to mark them ahead of time. Now we're on the home stretch. We're just going to put these boards back together, and then we can put our trim on and we'll be done. The key to a successful repair is to not damage any more boards than were already originally damaged. So you want to be careful taking the boards out. We use rubber mallets and our feet to put them back together with. As you see, a lot of times when you take them apart, the tongues break off, so you'll little pieces of the tongue, I should say, break off. So you always see us cleaning the joints out. Sometimes when you put them back together and they don't want to go together properly and they won't click, it's usually because there's something stuck in the tongue. Well, now we're gonna slide those boards back in. Those was the ones that we took out in order to get further out into the room without having to take any trim off. That saved us a lot of time. By sliding those boards out, we could go further out into the room and not have to take off those baseboards unnecessarily. So as we put it back together here, keep in mind that the corners and edges of these boards are very fragile until they're installed and you have no exposed sides. So when I hit it with the rubber mallet, I'm hitting on the tongue or in the dead center of the board, not on the edges, because you will chip the edges and corners of these boards. All that's left to do is glue and caulk our quarter round back on, and we're all done. If you want to see how to fix a chip and laminate board without having to take it apart at all, then you better subscribe so you get notified when our next video comes out, where we fix joints and cracks with nothing more than sawdust and wax.
It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be